Hi, Jessica here with Joyful and Simple Designs. Today we're going to be making a really cute Thanksgiving themed round tray. So today for this project we are going to be using a wood round. I have my stencil material, which is Oracle 813, the dark walnut stain, using some white paint and some black paint. I have a few different sponge brushes, some for the paint and the stain. I have my handles and I have a drill to screw those on. So I'm gonna start by staining my round. And this is my favorite stain, the dark walnut. It just gives it such a pretty color. So I am going to put a good layer on. And it does go a long ways, so I would start out with less and just add as you need it. So once it's completely stained, we're gonna grab some paper towels and just make sure you get any excess off. So a lot will probably come off. And it just gives your board a really pretty color. And then we're gonna let dry for about half an hour. Now that we have our round stained, I'm going to put a really light layer of white paint. And so I just put a little bit of paint on a paper plate. I'm gonna take this sponge brush, just get a little bit on my brush, and I'm just going to run it along, and this layer does not have to be perfect. So I like it with some of the wood showing. I want a little bit of a rustic-y look. So I'm just going to brush it on. So while our board is drying, we are going to work on getting our stencil ready. So this stencil material that I'm using is called Oracle 813. So I cut this out with my Cricut, and I will have this file available for you in the description. So we have to weed the stencil out, so we just need to take out all of the parts that we don't want. So I am going to take out these letters, but I'm going to make sure I leave in those middle pieces. We don't want to lose those. So in order to transfer this, I use what is called Transfer-Rite. And so it's this roll, and it's sticky. And another term for this is contact paper or transfer paper. So I just cut out enough. So I place it on. I cut out just enough to cover it. And the cool thing about this Transfer-Rite paper, I just started using it, it is reusable. So our stencil is just about ready to go. Now I'm going to come back to the round and I'm going to sand this down a little bit. I can see the grain of the wood, but I can also see a little bit of the white paint, and that really pretty stain is showing through just enough. So now I'm ready to put my stencil on. So in order to transfer this, I flip it over and there's a white backing on this stencil material. So I peel it off by laying it as flat as possible. And this is touching my wood. So I just slowly peel it off. And if some of my stencil starts to peel off with the white, I just go back a little bit and try again. And so you can go at a pretty slow pace just to make sure that all of that stencil material is sticking to your transfer paper. And if there's a bubble that's happening, I wouldn't worry too much about it. It shouldn't be a problem. So we take that off. And then you get to place it on. So I would just really lightly place it and don't push down until you're completely happy with the placement. So now that I'm happy, I'm gonna press this down as much as I can, and this is where you can try to get some of those bubbles out. We're going to press down and flatten it, and now we are ready to take off this transfer paper, and I'm going to keep it down as low as possible and just slowly peel it off. We don't want our stencil to come up, so I would just go slow, and you might have to help it stick a little bit. And now this extra piece of paper, I just stick right back on the roll. And then I can reuse it on my next project. So I know now I go through here and just make sure it's flat as possible. There might be some areas that feel just a little off, so I'm gonna flatten those. And I'm gonna take one more brush and some black paint. And you can use any colors that you want on here. If you want a little more colorful, you could use maybe an orange or a pretty red. But I'm just gonna use black and keep mine simple. So I have my paint, and when it comes to stenciling, we wanna use very, very little paint. So I dip just the corner of my paintbrush and I kind of just swirl it around, and that way I just have a really light layer. If you have too much paint on your paintbrush, then it's more likely to bleed through. So then I just dab it on. So I'm gonna peel off this stencil. And we have our gather written on our board. So now it's time for our handles. So for our handles, we are going to place them outside of the gather. So I have mine placed where I want to, and then I'm just going to use a drill, and these handles came with screws. But I'm just going to first double check that they're not going to go all the way through, and I think they should be good. Then I'm just going to screw them in. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe and like to my channel. I will be posting a new video every week for some fun crafts.